A full decade before his Oscar triumph with Anora, director Sean Baker delivered his most impressive film to date. Known for pushing the boundaries of what's possible in independent film, Baker's movies often involve characters excluded from traditional Hollywood narratives, and he tells their stories respectfully. Though he's obviously reached the mainstream, Baker never sacrifices his vision. Anora was the first Oscar for the successful director, but he has never been unpopular with critics, who have frequently lavished praise on his work. His more recent films, including Red Rocket and The Florida Project, have been bona fide indie darlings. However, one movie predates his greatest hits, and it's still his magnum opus that defines his filmmaking style. Tangerine is a great indie movie. A perfect example of no-budget cinema. Maya Taylor as Alexandra in Tangerine. Sean Baker's fringe filmmaking style has won him a lot of fans, and 2015's Tangerine is perhaps his most independent film ever. Made on a tiny budget of only $100,000, via Wired, with a cast made up largely of non-professional actors, Tangerine intentionally eschewed everything about mainstream Hollywood films. The story is loose and rambling, with several narratives weaving around one another until a dramatic and sad climax that loops back upon itself. Without a rigid focus, Tangerine is better able to flesh out the characters and explore their wants and desires. Sean Baker impressively filmed Tangerine on iPhones. Guerrilla filmmaking at its finest in Tangerine. Cindy and Alexandra from Tangerine sitting in a diner. Though it unfortunately overshadows the rest of the movie a bit, Tangerine's most impressive accomplishment is that it was shot entirely on iPhones. Smartphone photography has reached new heights since, but in 2015, it was still a novel concept. Besides being an obvious cost-saving measure, the iPhone photography also gives Tangerine a one-of-a-kind look. The compact nature of the cameras also allowed for much more intimate shooting, with the camera getting in much closer than what's possible with bulky rigs. Many of the scenes are extra tense because of the invasive nature of the camera, and Baker deftly uses cinematography to examine the minds of his characters. Furthermore, it helps fulfill the independent spirit of the film, with the iPhone being the great equalizer. Baker is making a statement with Tangerine, saying that anyone could make a movie if they have a great idea and the courage to pull it off. There's nothing Hollywood about the film, even down to the equipment being used on set. Tangerine showcases what Sean Baker brought to later movies. Even with bigger budgets, Sean Baker is the same filmmaker. Tangerine was hardly Sean Baker's first feature film, and it was really more of a continuation of themes he introduced in his earlier works. What's more, the 2015 indie darling was also a precursor to his bigger budgeted films like The Florida Project, Red Rocket, or Anora. Like those films mentioned, Tangerine is still about the characters first and foremost, and all of his movies are about people with unique backgrounds. The transgender sex workers at the heart of Tangerine aren't all that different from the characters in Baker's award-winning film, Anora, and he treats his heroes and villains with respect and humanity.